The Old Guard, a group that goes around stopping evil where they feel is fit, where they just think and decide what should be taken care of or who to save. It's pretty much a movie about, yeah, what I just said, the group who have immortal people who are badass warriors, and they have now recruited a new recruit of Nile to their organization, a group or organization, because that, yeah, you'll figure out when it becomes an organization rather than a group. I have to say about, actually, let's just get to this main detail of Charlize Theron as Andy. Her character's name is Andy. The biggest problem I have with that character, and there's good and bad. So the good part, actually let me start with the good. The good part is the fact that she's good. She's not bad. She actually put in the work as an action hero. You can see it from Atomic Blonde that she's carried over that action that a lot of actors, you see her actually putting the parts. There's probably parts where there's doubles, but she actually puts in the physicality rather than just like quick cuts and just a body double all the time. So she's good. She is a leading lady, and she's always been amazing. So that's a good thing. But the only bad thing is not really her, but the character herself doesn't really have that many details. We know where she came from, but we're not really into like what makes her unique or what drives her from that time period, because she never really talks like she has that time period. She talks like a person in this century, but not as a person from an old century or a person that's been living a long time. She just acts like a person who's lived to the ripe age of like 30. She's not really a person that sounds like an old wise person that's passing on knowledge to Niall, her almost like apprentice. She is just kind of just there to talk, and that's about it. But other than that, she's fantastic. Another actress, Kiki, I think I'm saying this wrong, but Kiki Layne, she plays Niall. Now, her as an actress, I see her having a bright future. She actually does sell a presence. You're not sitting there going, wow, this woman can't act. You're like, oh, she's actually good. She does throw a little bit of physicality. Again, when you see the fight scenes, you're like, wow, I hope to see her in the future. Unfortunately, like Charlize Theron, she is not given enough room to make this character very interesting. You mainly talk about her family, but you never see him, which is a bad sign for a movie. Movies, if you're going to focus on characters having families, you need to show them. If you don't, there's no need to have them in the movie at all, because there's no point where you actually even know who these people are or difference. They're just shown as a picture, and that's about it. So you're just waiting for, okay, is she going to have that connection? Is that going to be that moving scene that movies always rely on? Here, they do not rely on that. She's good, but she's not amazing. She's not given amazing stuff to do. Like, if I saw her in a Marvel movie, or just, not just in a Marvel movie, but just a one where a director can give her the opportunity to shine, she would be amazing. But this is just not her opportunity, but she is showing what an actress should do, and that's what I could say. She does an amazing job, but at the same time, she needs better material. The other characters, they're good in some parts. Like, there's two characters, and they are gay. Now that's great because LGBTQ support is great, but that's the biggest problem with it, is that they're only defined by being gay. Mm-hmm. And that's shouldn't be what they're defined by. They should be defined because of their personalities. Now, being gay, great bonus. I like that. That's great. That's pushing boundaries forward and giving people opportunities, or just representation in general. But don't just do it because you can do it. Make them interesting. They are just, you remember, as the gay people, and that's about it. It's like, okay, what makes them interesting? I need to know about who they are, other than, they talk fancy. And then there's another guy who, again, is supposed to be the brains of the operation, and yeah, doesn't really do anything brainy. Now, he does something later on in the movie. That's going to be a massive spoiler. I'm not going to tell you what he does. but you probably figured it out already. But yeah, he is not interesting whatsoever. You're like, you almost forget about him. He's just there. And you're like, yo, this movie focused on Charlize Theron and Kiki, it would be a great movie. Just an older woman passing on knowledge and having this apprentice like Leon the Professional. Could be that kind of movie. This could have been that. Yet it goes for these characters, and these characters need more development. They're good at watching and action, but they just need more development, and this movie's just yeah. That's what I gotta say about them. It's just you're longing for that. We gotta talk about this villain. Now there's multiple villains, not really, but I mean there is two villains in this movie. You will see it from the trailer. I have to say, the villain sucks. Villain really sucks. He really, really sucks. You will not remember this guy. You will. Oh man, the picture's right next to me, and I forgot him right now. I watched the movie last night, and I still don't care about him. He just was there. And there's points where you're looking at him going, really, really, dude, you're really a threat. You're just here just to be a villain. That's all you're here for. Movie needs a villain. Needs a person with a backstory or a passion or at least be a presence. You're just like, yeah, this guy's a villain. We just needed a villain. We just wrote a villain. That's about it. Okay, a couple of important things to talk about too. There's a lot of important things to talk about. I'm going to go over a lot of those details, so don't freak out. The thing is, the weapons are out of place. I know this is the old guard and they have to have swords and stuff, but the weapons feel out of place. They feel like something you grabbed from the Renaissance Festival and you use them. Because at some point you're like, okay, yes, they are old and they know how to use a sword. But at the same time, this is the future and there's no need for them to bust out a sword when they're shooting somebody. There's no point in that. They only do it to remind you that they're old. Now, let me give you some advice or an idea. What if they took those old weapons but updated them? Like, instead of using a sword, maybe an electric sword. I mean, that sounds a little ridiculous, but it shows that they're not just set in their old ways, but that they've learned from their past, and now it shows, oh wow, these guys are amazing because not only have they taken old technology, but they know how to upgrade it, so that makes them more effective. This is this kind of stuff that would add to character development. Another part that this movie is failing is character development. We don't know these characters specifically, other than two characters are gay, and one character lost his family, and Andy betrayed her friend, is looking for a friend, but she stopped. Again, this is going to be a lot of spoilers in this. It said it before. But the thing about this movie that's missing is definitely the character development, or even separating these characters. I feel like this movie feels like a movie that came out earlier this year, Six Underground. Now, if you haven't seen Six Underground, this is a spoiler, again, spoiler warning for that movie, but it was mainly about a group underground who's fighting military, like pretty much corrupt governments, and trying to help people, which this movie does exactly at the end of the movie. It says it's pretty much the same movie. If you watch Six Underground, you've watched this movie. You're not watching anything different. What they should have done is make these people unique, like go with a video game kind of element. Now you might go, why a video game? Look at a movie like, or not a movie, a game like Overwatch. Now Overwatch has a lot of characters, but every character has a backstory, and they're not all the same characters. They're not all, oh, give this guy a gun and just have him run. No, each character is unique and special. You have like a character from Tracer, or a character like Lucio, or a character like Soldier 76, and so on and so on. They have so many characters, and they all have unique skills. That's what this movie needed. Each character needed a unique skill instead of just being good at shooting guns. These people came from different time periods Why not? I mean, it would be stereotypical, but hey, you should have a soldier who's like maybe Greek, Greco-Roman, or a person who's like an African warrior, or a Mayan, or a Templar, something like that, or assassin, like a ninja, like something that makes them go, okay, not only are these people old, but they come from a different time period where you're like, oh my god, this is really interesting. So it adds a layer of development to these characters. So you're not just watching, oh, this is a fighter who knows how to use a gun, because we've seen that a lot in all movies, from John Wick to just even older movies like Die Hard. I was blinked out my name. With that movie, I can't believe I did that. But anybody, pretty much all Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, or anything from Sylvester Stallone, you've seen it before. For the most part, the movie doesn't have a huge scope. It's more kind of personal story, so it's not like end of the world, or oh, there's like villains all over the world, or trying to destroy these people from the old guard. Mostly it's small, contained. You can see in the details, not just the details, but the settings, from being in pretty much an abandoned building to another abandoned building where you almost feel like they're in a broom closet. There's a part where some of the characters, this is going to have some spoilers, but they get detained and they are in a room which is not very scientific or very, I would say, looks advanced. But the biggest problem with it is it's just so small scale. So that's the biggest another complaint that I have about the movie is it's not a big scale movie. So it does fit for the Netflix side, but it doesn't fit for a movie theater. The cinematography is great. I mean, for a movie that's on Netflix, Netflix has really bumped up their cinematography and locations. They actually do take it to locations that are amazing and cinematic. You're not sitting there thinking, oh, I'm just shooting at a backlot. You're like, wow, they're actually taking me to Sudan or Africa or England. I'm actually there at these locations. So that's a great step up from Netflix. I gotta applaud that. For the last part, and this is gonna be the last part, the music video scenes are very, very distracting. There's too many times where there's music that comes and it's like, oh, she's being stronger, or she's being amazing, and you're just sitting there going, okay, use the soundtrack. Listen to people like Hans Zimmer, or listen to people like John Williams, who actually know how to, even Daft Punk, or Trent Reznor, who also found a way to just implement music that has aggressive tones or somber notes, stuff that makes the scene feel a lot like a music video. There's times where you're just you're watching action scenes and it almost becomes a music video. It's like, this is the part you do when you add a person who wants to put a music video track on MTV, or just right now it wouldn't be MTV anymore, it would be Vivo. That's what that's for, not for a movie. It's very distracting. Another thing that's kind of, now I don't know if it was my TV or what time I was listening to the movie, but there's times where the dialogue is just too low, and that was another problem I have with the movie. That's I gotta wrap this up, but yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to like sound, and that's a bad part. Cinematography good, music not good, and I gotta leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more.